Hello everyone, this is Matt with ESC United Know-it-Alls podcast, the very first one of the 2018 season. Yes, that's right, Eurovision 2017 is 3 weeks ago. We're moving on. I'm kidding, of course, I'm being a little dramatic. Of course, what we want to do here is talk about 2018, but before I do so, I just wanted to give you a quick recap of my time in Kyiv, Ukraine, and it's going to be quick. Overall, obviously, I had a wonderful time. I miss my team already, everyone. Zach, Sean, Fernando, Chris. I hope you all doing well, and I can't wait to see you all again very soon in Portugal. I spent a lot of time in the press center. I was there, the first one to arrive for the most part, and usually the last one to leave. I was always, or for the most part, the only one on camera for our live streams, and it was so worth it though. You guys made it so much fun that I could not stop being there. I hope you also had fun. I got a lot of good feedback. Ultimately, the intent was to bring you to Kyiv, even though you couldn't be there physically, and I hope we succeeded in that. What do I think about Ukraine as the host? I think the actual live shows were great. There were little hiccups here and there, but for the most part, I thought it went really well. I did like the hosts, the three hosts, they did a fine job. It was a great looking stage, and it all just went smoothly. It was a very unique experience for me. I haven't been this far east ever before in my life, and this was probably the first time that I really struggled with the language barrier, because the majority of Ukrainians did not speak English. The people in the press center, they spoke English, so that was fine. But even just going through the security, or trying to grab an Uber to get to the arena, or to the Euro Club, there always was some kind of language barrier. And you just had to use your hands, your arms, your legs just to communicate. But we made it work. But at first it was a little bit intimidating because, they don't understand the word, you don't know what they're saying, and you're in a foreign land. So it took me a couple of days, took me a little bit by surprise. I knew their English wasn't as good as like other places like Sweden or Austria. But it was interesting to say the least. But the people were very nice and very patient, and that really made a big difference. Even though, people, the security guards, they didn't speak English and we didn't speak Ukrainian, they didn't get impatient with us. It just kept repeating the same things until we actually knew what they were saying. And just overall, wherever we were in the city, people were very kind to us. And I really enjoyed my time there. Now, as far as the broadcaster's performance, I should say, I don't know. I'm not going to give them a grade or anything, but there were certainly several hiccups. But nothing that was like unforgivable. I don't think they really knew how to run Euro Club, for instance, initially, playing non-Eurovision music at times, and people travel from all over the world to enjoy the contest, so the last thing they want to do is listen to Rihanna or some other whoever is in the charts right now. There were also some issues with could the staff get in or not, and then on certain days all of a sudden even the press that couldn't get in. Then one stage was open and the other one was closed. And it was just very confusing at times. The press center itself, I think there isn't a whole lot I can say that is negative. The staff was really nice. They didn't have a whole lot of food option there per se. So the thing that was probably the most disappointing was the food selection. They had a cafeteria down by the bathrooms, which was really interesting, a cafeteria, and they had one upstairs as well, but they closed like at 5 in the afternoon or 6, And that's where things really get rolling. That's when things start out at Eurovision. So that was really weird. So food-wise, I wasn't too impressed. But I did like the fact that a lot of things were really cheap, whether it's coffee or soda. And they served alcohol after 6 p.m., which was quite impressive. I didn't have any, but several of my folks did. And so that was an interesting experience. The internet was okay. I thought it was going to be worse, so I'm glad that we had fairly consistent internet. Was quite reliable. Not the best though, but apparently, and I didn't even know that, I was told that Ukraine doesn't even have 4G network yet. Only 3G, which is interesting considering some countries like Finland, they're switching to 5 now, and I know it's becoming a thing in the United States as well. So they're a little bit behind. Security was quite a process, I should say. But that's probably a good thing because, safety first. It was just so exhausting going through security. First of all, you had to take out all electronics, whether it's your laptop, your iPad, your video camera, your phone, just your regular camera. So you have to take out every little piece, microphones, you name it, and you have to put it on the table. Then you have to put everything else for the scanner, just like at an airport, and then you walk through the other thing to make sure it doesn't beep. And then you have to turn on every piece of equipment. They want to make sure it's actually working and you can turn it on. So you have to turn on your phone, then you have to turn on your iPad, then you have to turn on your video camera, then you have to turn on your camera, and then you have to turn it was like, oh my god, it took forever. So there were times where my battery died of my video camera, so they wouldn't let me in. I had to actually stand somewhere and charge the battery for like 10 minutes just so I can turn on the camera, and they would then let me into the arena. So that was quite exhausting, but this is not a complaint because I understand. This is security and knowing where we were, and with all the stuff that's happening throughout the world right now, it makes perfect sense. So I am not complaining. I'm just sharing my experience with you. From that perspective, it was annoying, but it was an annoying experience that I'm glad it happened. My hotel was pretty close to the arena. It was like a 15-minute walk or something like that. 20 if you walk slowly. I had often, a lot of equipment on me, so I at times chose not to walk, but to actually grab an Uber. And Ubers are so darn cheap in Kyiv. Taking, a ride from my hotel to the arena was maybe, I don't know, just over $1, a US dollar. Totally affordable. So yes, we kept doing that over and over again. I got a lot of questions. A lot of people asked me which press center or which was the best experience so far. Would I put Kyiv at the top of my list? Probably not. But would I put it was not a bad experience at all. I just had other places where I was like, things were a little bit more streamlined, I guess. But that is okay. It's not a complaint. I loved being in Kyiv. I loved seeing the city. It was such a unique experience for me being in such a different place. And I would totally do it again. I will not spend much time on, the results. We all know who won. Upcoming spoiler, Portugal won. I'm still sad Finland and Estonia did not qualify. I really, those both songs were in my personal top 5. So the fact that they both didn't make it to the finals was devastating news to me. And I'm still recovering from that. That being said, I'm a huge fan of Salvador's song, and I'm so excited that Portugal won. Those who followed our live streams knew what a big fan I was, and when you watched the press reaction in the arena, you saw us all jumping around like crazy. So we are genuinely happy for Salvador and the Portuguese fans. They waited almost 50 years for their first win, and it has finally happened. So we couldn't be more excited, and I get to go to Portugal next year. I've never been to Portugal, so this is really, really exciting. Hopefully it'll be Lisbon. Most likely it's going to be. But this is where we're at right now. We're going to Portugal, and I'll be there. But now it's time to shift the focus to 2018. There's so much to do, so much to talk about. We're still far, far out. We don't even have the dates yet. But let's talk about it anyway. As said, Portugal won, therefore they'll get to host the contest in 2018. We don't have the dates yet. Today is June 4th, which is a Sunday, so I think in about less than 10 days, we'll actually have the official dates for the song contest. So far, according to Wikipedia at least, 17 countries have confirmed their intent to take part. And even if we stop now, no other countries will return. We will match 1967. That's when 17 countries took part in 1967, when the UK won with Puppet on a String. I think there'll be more next year, but I'm just saying. Now, as of right now, we have 17 countries confirmed or expressed their provisional interest in taking part of the contest. And if Russia is staying true to their word, they will return in 2018 and will send Yulia Samolyova, actually. That's the girl who was supposed to represent Russia this year in 2017 in Kyiv, but due to all that stuff that happened, I'm sure you're aware of it, the whole Crimean situation. Russia, in the end, withdrew because Yulia was not allowed to travel to Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go with this right now, but Russia said they're going to send her in 2018. So as of right now, this is the Russian representative. We shall see if it's going to stay that way. Now let's talk about Israel real quick. You may recall that during the results, the spokesperson from Israel was talking about how IBA is shutting down, and he was right. The broadcaster closed its doors, stopped all broadcasting, so they are done. There is a new broadcaster out there. I think it's called IPBC, but they're branded as KAN. There are, as of today, not a member of the EBU. So that means Israel technically cannot take part in the contest until that broadcaster is accepted into the EBU. It is a requirement to take part in the contest. The good news is, in case you didn't follow the news, on May 24th, 2017, KAN actually applied to join the European Broadcasting Union. And knowing the EBU, I'm pretty sure that they will accept the application. So it looks as Israel will return to the contest. But stay tuned for more news on that. There's also been a few updates, apparently, on Kosovo. There have been some media reports that the broadcaster, I think it's RTK, they are hoping that they'll be able to actually take part in the contest in 2018. There has been a lot of support from certain broadcasters all across the Balkans, but as you can imagine, Serbia is strongly opposing the participation. Same goes for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. If Kosovo were to join the contest, they would be the first European country, new European country, I should say, since 2008, when San Marino actually joined the contest. San Marino, as of right now, is the newest European country to join the contest. And when I say European, I'm talking about the geographic, the continent itself. Azerbaijan joined in 2008 and Australia in 2015. But you get my point. Kazakhstan is also hoping to join the contest. In case you didn't know, the country became an associate member on January the 1st, 2016. Which then opens up the window or a possibility to take part in the contest. Until a couple of years ago, you would have to be a full member of the EBU to take part. But then Australia is also only an associated member, and they were allowed to take part. So the EBU could easily allow Kazakhstan to do the same. They broadcasted all the shows in 2017, so my guess is it's only a matter of time until they let them in. But whether or not that's going to happen in 2018, that remains to be seen. We'll keep you up to date on that. And Australia has said, that was the 2017 was their third participation. As of right now, they're still considered a guest to the contest, but they would look. They are hoping actually to become a permanent member of the contest. And knowing the EBU and knowing the way things are going, I think once again it's only a matter of time until Australia will become a permanent member of the contest. They're not going to go anywhere for different reasons. So in addition to that, they're actually looking into a possibility of holding their own national final for the very first time in 2018. That would be really exciting as well. Now let's talk about some other countries here. Andorra, this tiny little country, they already announced on May 14th that they will not return to the contest in 2018. They just don't have the money for it. So now Andorra in 2018. We have to wait a little longer for their return. What else is happening? The United Kingdom, even though technically they have not confirmed their participation, they'll be back, right? That's not going to be even a question. But the interesting part is that there have been multiple news outlets reporting, Swedish tabloids in particular, that Mats Zelmerlöw, who won the contest in 2015 and co-hosted in 2016, may be involved or could be involved collaborating with the broadcaster to find the next representative. What all that entails, I don't know. Nobody knows at this point, but we shall see if that's all going to happen, and if it's going to be an effective thing remains to be seen. Now let's talk about another small nation, San Marino. San Marino did not qualify this year. Once again, they only received 1 point in the semifinals. And the San Marino RTV's Carlo Romero, director of General San Marino's broadcaster, he questions the country's continuation. He actually, this was an exclusive from ESC United. It was released on the night when Valentina Monetta and Jimmy Wilson didn't qualify from the semis. He said in the statement sent to ESC United, there's no place for microstates in the Eurovision Song Contest. That being said, that announcement was made right after they failed to qualify. It remains to be seen if that's going to be the case. I have a feeling that San Marino will be back, but we'll have to wait and see. Some news about Slovenia as well. Apparently, the Slovenian broadcaster said that in 2018, songs featuring the English language would not be welcome. Yes, no songs featuring the English language would be welcome next year. That is a very interesting approach. I mean, looking at the success non-English songs had this year, I mean, Portugal won and Italy finished 6th. It's quite an interesting approach now, and as a fan of non-English songs, I welcome this attitude and approach. So we'll keep you up to date on that as well. All right, let's read some of your comments that you left on social media, and I'll respond to them. There have been so many of them, so I just picked a few random ones, and don't take it personally if yours is not on there. All right, let's start here. Hai Hong Jing commented, I hope I said that right. Matt, your facial expressions during Azerbaijan's rehearsal is priceless. What he's referring to, of course, are our live streams on YouTube. They're all archived, so feel free to watch them. Here's the thing. So when we get to go to Eurovision, we get to watch the dress rehearsals, the individual rehearsals. So we are the first ones who get to see them, basically, not counting the people who were, already doing the camera work during, before the press arrived. So I just remember the setup. When you all saw the performance, the first time it happened, you were at least warned by us and other Eurovision outlets that something crazy is about to happen with Azerbaijan. The first time you see it, it's really, really confusing. The whole horseman on a ladder doing funny movements and being very artsy about it, and then the chalkboard, and there was just so much going on. So yes, I am very animated. I cannot really hide my facial expressions or my opinion when it comes to that, for better or worse, if you will. So I guess I had a very strong reaction. It's just who I am. But that is the fun part about Eurovision. You just never know what's going to happen. Although with Azerbaijan, you always know they're going to come up with something crazy, and they certainly did not disappoint. All right, next one. Luna Plata commented, Matt, you were completely mesmerized when Salvador was singing. It was so beautiful. Very, very sweet. First of all, thank you very much for the kind words. It was once again my reaction, a natural reaction. And I can just tell you, based on my experience, I've been to several Eurovisions now. This was unique. It was different. There was this camaraderie, almost, if you will, when it came to the Portuguese entry. And don't get me wrong, there were plenty of people who couldn't stand the song, right? It's not for everyone. But it seems like this whole thing about everyone was rooting for Portugal, regardless of the song at some point. And it was just beautiful, first of all, that part. That being said, I was in love with that song, and I did not believe that it could win until the very end. I was just thinking there's no way that the public would go for it. I was fairly confident that it would do well with the juries, but until the very end almost, I was like, there's no way that the average Joe will really get the song. And boy, was I wrong. And I'm so glad about that. I'm glad that I was wrong. Everything about the performance was just amazing. It was just one of the most breathtaking performances at Eurovision in years. There was something magical and beautiful and vulnerable almost. It was almost fragile. I just loved the entry, and it's been a while since I felt about a winner like that. Lately, I haven't been crazy when it comes to the Eurovision winners, so the fact that one of my favorites won obviously makes me very, very happy. All right, next question. Why weren't you happy when Sweden got only the 8th highest televote score? Jealousy, Call Europe 89 says. So what he's saying is people were glad when Sweden was announced in 8th place in the televote, basically, sealing their fate as far as victory is concerned. I cannot really speak on behalf of others. Personally, I was not a big fan of I Can't Go On. That song really, really rubbed me the wrong way. It's just not the kind of song that I liked. And I was annoyed by the fact that the juries put it so high. I'm like, what is going on, right? But again, that's a personal thing. This was not a professional opinion or anything. So what Carl Euro is referring to is our reaction during the results. And So yes, I was personally glad when I found out it was not going to win. Um, that's the only thing. I think when it comes to other people, a lot of people kind of were on the same page, but I think it became also for people in the press center, right? There is a different feel, a different vibe than maybe like for people who watch it, because people in the press center, they go to Eurovision every single year, and they've been to Sweden now on several different occasions. I think they want to see a different place for now before returning to Sweden in in the near future. So it was not necessarily anything against Sweden as a country. It was just about the fact that people wanted to go somewhere else. Hicken 1988 is saying, could you do a video about ESC voting system? Is it right that jury has 50% power to decide which countries will go to the ESC grand final in your opinion? And yes, I will make videos as I promised just earlier. And that will include the jury versus televote scenario. There are several people out there who don't like the juries. Keep in mind that you will get from me something a little more balanced, if you will, because personally I am very, very much in favor of keeping the juries, even though they lately have been pissing me off a lot. Excuse my French here. And I don't agree with them on a frequent basis, actually, but that's not the point. And I'm happy to elaborate on that soon. But yes, as said, I will make more videos, and I will talk about the juries and the televote situation as well. All right, so those are all the questions we have for today. I already spent way too much time talking to you guys. This was supposed to be a short podcast. So let's talk about the last thing I want to talk about is what's going to happen now at ESC United over the next few months during the off season, if you will. So there's a lot going on. Obviously, we're going to try to keep you up to date with all the news that ESC United has to offer. ESC United, I mean Eurovision, so we'll try to keep you up to date on that. In addition, we have our forum at escunited.com, and just click on forum to talk to thousands of fans from all around the world. That's always a good place to go to. It's never boring. Once again, we'll continue with our podcast. So this is the first of many. I will not just, it won't be just me here talking to myself all the time. Over the next few months, I will have more guests on, including our team, such as Zach and Calvin and Robert and many of the other folks that join me on a regular basis. So stay tuned for that. I will return to YouTube very soon as well to make more videos. So I hope you'll be there for that. What kind of videos? There will be several. We'll talk about the news that are coming in for Eurovision. We'll talk about certain aspects of Eurovision, whether it's the juries, as I mentioned earlier, the EBU, you name it. So we'll keep doing that. And as we get into the Eurovision or the national final season, we'll start with live hangouts, and that's always something that people look forward to. We don't want to wait until Lisbon, or Portugal, I should say, at this point. So that will happen as well. In addition, in case you did not know, you should know by now, ESC United does a lot of editorials, opinion pieces, so make sure to check those out as well. It's unique content that you only find on ESC United. So that is all we have for today. I just wanted to come in here, just show up real quick, give you a quick rundown of 2017, talk about 2018 and what's to come. This is the first podcast of the season. I will be back soon. In the meantime, let's do one more thing. I don't want to forget about it. As always, I want to add at the very end the Eurovision song of the day. And today we're going to, I don't know if honor is the right word, but certainly support Olivia Newton-John. If you paid attention to our website, that Olivia Newton-John sadly is battling breast cancer. Again, she has been in remission basically for 25 years. She will fight for it, of course. She is a fighter, and we wish her the best of luck. But for now, let's celebrate her Eurovision entry from 1974 for the United Kingdom. Long live love. So until then, everyone, this is Matt with ESC United. I will see you soon.